a pretty book. This shit is pretty.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I didn't have anything to do with it. It's designed by a woman who lives in like the South Pacific, apparently turns out. But apparently her and Luis had worked together from the beginning of Tia Chuchi, so he won't let anybody design his books than this woman. So I was so moved that she was able to see and feel this thing. We caught some typos and shit. We fixed it. If we sell enough for them to put it back in print, we'll have it fixed up. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this today. This is a beautiful thing. I call on my June. January mother with some name. I call on her New York voice, freed from tracheotomy tube, to mash lumps of bad memories until I am gravy again. I call on my June to help me bless the ashes of my ripening as I flower finally in the compost of her death, and my heart breaks and wilted friendships flatline after the smiles of lovers become the leaders of jack-o'-lanterns. Oh, I can see her full moon face rise from handwriting that overwhelms the single spaces of letters she wrote me on groaning legal pads. Oh, my mother is crying. And my mother could cry and crown a moment with the majesty of grief. Her tears welling from the whole residue of a life as a foster child, whose birth certificate said white and whose death certificate said Negro. She is laughing. My mother, oh, could she laugh? She could laugh and soothe departure. Her tears welling from the whole joy of a working woman whose social security number said dependable and whose Harris family addresses documented her refusal to pass. She is crying. She is laughing. Wiping her nose with the same corner of Kleenex I handed her in 1965. Her visit, soothing me like the bath she drew to make my chicken pox stop itching. Comforting me like her fearless kiss on my scabby soft spot. Like the clean sheet she spread on my twin bed. She has come to dance with me on the second line, winding back home from her funeral. She says, it's time to stop mourning. Her death, my heart breaks. Wilted friendships, and her bedtime kiss, the ripped pages of her 20-year-old letters, the clink of quarters she handed me with orders to run downstairs and buy her a chocolate sundae from the frozen custard truck with its tinkling bell. Stop mourning our Saturday trips to buy me the latest Fantastic Four and Silver Surfer comics. It's even time to stop mourning the tough love. Oh, like that time she told me I would regret throwing away my John Denver records. I was a black nationalist promising I would never again be Rocky Mountain High. And that afternoon, she peeped unspoken frustration over my first marriage, then laughed and said, ooh, I hate to see you when you really say. When I shouted through snot and tears that everything was fine, I was okay, and won't you mind your own business, she said, it's time to stop mourning. Start dancing. Follow the badass band playing the music for the ceremony that will bless the ashes. It's got to be swept away if we're ever to breathe again after death, breathe again after heartbreak, breathe again after wilted friendship. She said, start singing the songs, blending words and music into perfect whole, spiced with the honesty of a brother inhaling the incense of his falsetto. And laughing out the blue when the lyrics fall from his mouth, hit the sidewalk, and he hear background harmony swelling the cracks in the cement, covering the new American earth, and me and my mother are stepping. Wild style, like the two converted wallflowers we are, saying, waving like church fans, air conditioning the baptized skin of our Virginia aunts. Come on now, let's dance this time. Eyes closed, trusting we ain't stepping on nobody's toes. Let's dance. This time, finding music in the pounding pain of our lives. Let's laugh. Let's hug. Let's party. And turn to our past and speak. My bad. I forgive you. Speak. Keep dancing. Following trail away from the funerals for every good that's ever died. Naturally, since I'm flesh, she out of body, I ask, well, why I got to give it up like I got horizon on my forehead? Why I got to have open heart surgery with only invisible yes and sidewalk whispers anesthesia? Why can't I hold a grudge and swear on the shelter of calcified indignation? She don't even miss a beat. Ask me, what do you stand for in the lives of your friends? And she points at ghosts holding up the walls we pass. They line in our path like soul-trained dancers forgot which beat to honor. They wearing clothes that make me think, oh, it's the two wives I've left. Children whose raising is pockmarked with gaps in time. It's the last lover who see her future without my touch. A friend whose hands turned radioactive on his one because he couldn't say goodbye to her love, but they all wearing my face. They all me. And Mom turns to me, straight to a rattlesnake in her throat. I hear her rasping funeral arrangements to me as I sit with her in the ICU room of Greater Southeast Memorial Hospital in July 1984. I am taking dictation, patient as she speaks, pauses to catch her breath, tries to rise on her right elbow, falls back. I am taking dictation from my dying mother, asking for her Peter J., the journalist, the poet, overwhelm the single spaces of the ceremonial journey I was writing in the groaning hospital notepad. Since I was her flesh, she my mommy, I asked, what were we doing? She smiled and wrinkled the horizon on her forehead, said, who else? Knowing that I would know she was right. This here was my gift, not daddy's, or big brothers, or little sisters. This was my job, facing the ghosts, speaking for the ghosts, dancing with the ghosts. That's what I stand for in the lives of my friends. And I see my new moon face reflected in her handwriting, and I can cry. I cry and crown a moment of the majesty of grief. My tears welling from the whole life she helps me learn how to live. I am laughing. I laugh and hear her New York voice, a symphony out my mouth. My tears welling from the whole joy she gives me permission to learn how to live. We unlock the door to the shelter of calcified indignation. My mother and I, a living invitation. We join on the second line by every need I have ever been. Every good that's ever died is alive in our movement. It is time to stop mourning. Follow the badass band, playing the music for the ceremony that will bless the ashes. It's got to be swept away if we ever to breathe again after death and heartbreak and wilted friendships. My mother, she sang, fuck this standing around. The funeral is back that way. Live. Keep dancing. keep your head to the sky and tear the roof